All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. We got some more news stuff for you today, but not too much. It is a Sunday after all, and nothing particularly interesting ever happens on Sundays. Or does it? I don't really know. In terms of the news, no, not really. So it's going to be a short episode. I know I said that last episode. It ended up turning out to be like a 26-minute video because I just rambled on about a bunch of stuff towards the end of it. But that's okay because I like talking. It's fun. So the main topic we have today is that Tether mints 250 million of the new US dollar tokens, and it rekindles controversy. So if you don't know about the Tether controversy, welcome to planet Earth, and welcome to cryptocurrency. So basically, a lot of people are blaming that Tether is being printed without actually being tied to the US dollar. So Tether is essentially a cryptocurrency that is tied to the US dollar. And you might wonder, well, what is the point of that? The point is actually quite valid. So on a lot of exchanges, they don't have US dollar pairing, or they might not have euro pairing. So what you do is you send your Bitcoin over to an exchange, and then you sell it for Tether, and you can just use it essentially as the US dollar. So if Bitcoin goes to 10,000 and you sell it, and you get Tether, you get 10,000 Tether, and then it goes down to 9,000, and you buy Bitcoin with it or an altcoin with it. So it's actually quite useful. But the problem is that it's supposed to be tied to the exact amount of US dollars that there is in Tether, and it's supposed to be something like 2 billion, 2.5 billion Tether, but nobody knows if they actually have $2.5 billion to be physically backing this. So the controversial stable coin Tether generated 250 million worth of US dollar tokens on May 18th, according to Omni Explorer. Tether is the company that issues the so-called stable coins Tether, which it claims are backed by a 1-to-1 ratio of US dollars. Tether has been criticized for its lack of transparency after it broke ties with auditing firm Friedman LLP before an official audit could be conducted. So with a near monopoly on stablecoins, the total supply of Tether tokens has now risen to 2.5 billion, and some critics find it hard to believe that all those tokens are backed by US dollars. So one such critic is an anonymous blogger, Bitfinex, who has pointed out the correlation of Tether coin generation with price increase of mainstream cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. According to Cointelegraph's Bitcoin and Ethereum price indices, the price of Bitcoin has increased approximately $120 and Ethereum by 10 within an hour of the issuing of 250 million worth of Tether tokens. So the issue is that a lot of people think that, Bitfinex, and now a lot of people use Tether, were essentially pumping the price of Bitcoin and various other coins with this printed Tether that's not really backed by any currencies. They also, of course, as I just read, refused to be audited. They broke ties with their auditing firm. Why would they even have ties with an auditing firm if they never wanted to be audited? I really don't know. And the price increased 120 and Ethereum by 10 within an hour. Now, that's not too much, though, so that could be just a total coincidence. Bitcoin increasing or decreasing by $120 is basically nothing today. Sometimes it goes 1,000 and then decreases 1,000. $120 is nothing. And Ethereum, $10 is nothing. Something like $20, $30, $40, $50 would be a different increase in Ethereum, but $10 is really, that happens 20, 30 times a day that it increases or decreases $10. So not too surprising there. Bitfinex, one of the largest exchanges for cryptocurrencies, is a sister company of Tether and has threatened legal action against critics such as Bitfinex for questioning Tether's 1-to-1 ratio with US dollar, a fact still unproven in the absence of an audit. So Tether might not be the only contender in the stablecoin sphere, as new players like Circle, backed by Goldman Sachs, and TrueUSD and Basis have begun developing their own stablecoins. So don't worry, it's not like there's a race to get into Circle or TrueUSD or anything like that, because again, they're just backed by the US dollar, so buying into them really does basically nothing. So I actually really wanted to read this article for this one little paragraph right here. So they threaten legal action against critics such as Bitfinex for questioning the ratio. But here's the thing. I would really like to see that go to court, right? I can just imagine it. I can imagine it now. They're in court, and this critic Bitfinex guy is standing there, and he's like, well, I've got such and such and such a proof, and then the defendant, or well, he would be the defendant, they would be the plaintiff, and they're like, okay, well we've got this proof, and then they don't have any proof, right? Because they've never been audited. So wouldn't that just be like incriminating yourself by going to court against somebody who is attacking you? And then the judge would be like, okay, well, what's your proof that this is real, so that we can then question the defendant? Obviously I'm not a lawyer, so I have no idea what I'm talking about here. But then we would question the defendant. So if you turn out to be true, if this 1-to-1 ratio is in fact true, then we have to question the defendant and ask him. But then they wouldn't be able to print any evidence saying that it is 1-to-1 ratio, and then the judge would just be like, all right, so I guess this case is dismissed then? Or they would end up just incriminating themselves, and it would turn out to be not real, and then everybody would know it. So no, it's total fluff. They're just blowing smoke. You can't put legal action against somebody if in what you were in fact doing was illegal. And obviously nobody knows, because they're like, hey, bye-bye auditors, just as soon as we're about to be audited. So it just doesn't make sense. Like, you can't take somebody to court. That's like if somebody broke into your house and stole your drugs, right? And then you call the cops and you're like, hey, these people stole my drugs. And then the cops would just be like, so you had drugs? He's like, oh, yeah, no, I had drugs, but it got stolen. And they'd be like, okay, well, here's your handcuffs, because you just told us you had drugs. I don't know if it works like that, but you get what I'm saying there. Like, this, you can't take somebody to court if what you were in fact doing was correct or was incorrect. It doesn't make any sense. Bitcoin games. So armchair detectives have another Bitcoin puzzle to solve. As you can see, I don't have many good news articles for you today. It just doesn't exist. What I do want to talk about real quick is it's more of a question. I was wondering, how many of you guys plan on going to E3 2018 on June 12th through the 15th in Los Angeles? I will probably be there. So if any of you watching this happen to be going to E3, take a look around for me. I'll be walking around. I'm the really, really skinny guy with glasses and really long hair. And you'll be like, oh, that's that guy. And feel free to talk to me. I'm a real person. So E3, I'm just super excited for it. I'll be walking around. I'll have some people there with me. We're going to be talking about, maybe doing some work together or something like that. So it should be pretty cool. So after the notorious 5 Bitcoin puzzle was solved last January after years of people trying to crack it, now another Bitcoin puzzle was launched this week. So a person posted an image which contains the Bitcoin puzzle that rewards the solver 1 Bitcoin. So I'm not going to read the entire article because, I'm actually pretty terrible at puzzles, like personally, as I've never been into them so much. So this is the puzzle though. It contains 1 hidden Bitcoin within the image and has not been solved yet. So, again, the links of these will be in the description of the video if you guys want to try and solve this. I'm sure within this article here, you can actually find the actual website that it's been placed on, maybe by clicking this link. I'm not really sure. But I've made no attempt to solve this puzzle. So it could be, a mnemonic password or whatever. Like a seed phrase, if you will. So it could be a combination of these words here. It could be something else. I see random algebraic I guess you wouldn't really want probably equations, I suppose. I took college math, but that's about where I stopped. No calculus for me. So I did quadratic equations, and that's where I drew out the line. So like you can see, z equals 10, z equals 11, z equals 6, z equals 30, z equals 3. So we can see a lot of stuff in there, and somebody will solve it sooner or later. So I hope it's one of you guys. If you guys solve it, give me 0.1 Bitcoin. I'm sorry. So the infamous coin artist 5 Bitcoin puzzle was solved this year. So it contained 5 BTC, this one here. For years before the puzzle was decrypted, the painting called The Legend of Satoshi Nakamoto was designed by coin artists who had hidden clues that revealed a private key to the tethered wallet. And the puzzle was solved by a 30-year-old programmer named Isaac, who solved the puzzle in less than 2 months. Isaac just happened upon the puzzle while searching for cryptocurrency-related riddles online. So I don't think it really says like what the actual solution, if you will, was to this puzzle. But I'm assuming maybe like the animals and some kind of key in between, or maybe who knows? You know, I mean, people can get pretty clever with these puzzles, and with no clues whatsoever, they're quite difficult. So governments try to ban Bitcoin. This image includes a signed Bitcoin transaction transferring 12 million US dollar. So I don't think that's necessarily a puzzle. It's just showing a hidden transaction. So whether it does or not, probably be just being totally trolled, and I'm just like looking at it and I'm like, I wonder what this is. You're like, no, it's just a picture of kittens. I was just trolling you the whole time. It's just a picture of kittens. It means nothing. So I don't know. But I hope somebody from this channel solves it. I would really like to see that happen. You don't actually have to give me any Bitcoin. Former Visa CEO joins cryptocurrency startup making a payment card. So Seamless Payments, the former CEO of Visa UK in Ireland, has joined a cryptocurrency startup looking to make cards for everyday shopping. So this is kind of what the world needs at the moment. People need their debit cards with cryptocurrency on them. I know, we have to. Mark O'Brien, CEO of Visa, United Kingdom and Ireland from 2008 to 2014, was announced as CEO of cryptocurrency payment startup Crypterium on Thursday. Crypterium calls itself a crypto bank that lets you pay with tokens via QR codes or NFC or in online stores. The startup plans to enter the Visa and MasterCard to make cryptocurrency cards that charge your virtual wallet in a fraction of a second. So the card will be attached to a wallet that we've created, and every time the consumer makes a transaction, we will receive a request for that transaction in our systems. We will check the Bitcoin or Ether account, and provided that they've got sufficient balance, we will execute a trade and mark their Bitcoin balance for a trade and approve the transaction. So pretty interesting. I hope that goes through, because I want to see more. I want to see more interaction with crypto in the real world, and not just on exchanges. Not just people saying, "Oh, my Bitcoin's worth 10,000. Oh, my Bitcoin's worth 9,000." That doesn't really. It just doesn't really do anything for the world. There's blockchain. That's a totally different story. But then there's cryptocurrency, which is associated with blockchain, but then it's associated with a currency itself. And without being able to spend a currency, it's useless. So if you had it's better. Money needs to move around for it to be money. If everybody just held on to their U.S. dollars, it wouldn't be a currency anymore. It has to move around. You have to give it to other people. They have to give it to somebody else. Big exhaust truck driving by. Of course, right when I'm recording, they're just like, "Hey, MrSotko is recording." Wah, wah, wah. They're in like first gear, 6K RPMs, just cranking it out. Screw shifting. Who needs to shift, right? But yeah, so this is a real thing that really needs to happen. I don't, whether or not you like Visa or MasterCard, you think blah 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 about them. It really needs to be that step, so people could use their crypto much easier at various locations. So Tom Lee explains why Consensus failed to spark the Bitcoin rally. That's right, buddy. You yell. He's just yelling. Always watching movies and just screaming and yelling. Going into Consensus, most of the talk featured the expectation that crypto prices will soar during and after the summit. Based on the pattern of the last 3 years, experts hinged their bet on a big crypto rally. So alas, Consensus came and went without any price increase. So in fact, the opposite happened. Prices dropped, and the total crypto market cap tanked by $40 billion during the conference in New York City. Bitcoin price declined by 3% by the end of the conference. So Lee began by admitting that perhaps he and other experts were overly optimistic due to the expected large turnout at Consensus. This is about the CoinDesk Consensus 2018, which normally raises the price of crypto pretty substantially during the event, and then within 2 months after the event, even more. He also said that after months of uncertainty, that gathering of many crypto enthusiasts was seen as a precursor to the reinvigoration of confidence in the market. During the interview, Lee identified the lack of clarity on regulatory discussions and muted custodial announcements and consensus is part of the reason why the conference didn't produce the expected results. And again, you can just YouTube the 2018 consensus and just watch some of the videos. A lot of them are like 4 or 8 hours long because they go the whole day. And just there was just nothing really good. I skimmed through it. I'm going to be the first to admit that I didn't watch the whole conference, because if I did, I'd have like 16 hours of YouTube videos just on that on my belt. Probably should have, but most of it was just they took a very, very interesting topic and made it a very, very uninteresting topic. It's kind of like when you get like a science teacher, or those TED Talks, where they talk at the universities and things like that in front of a crowd, where they're going to talk about like awesome quantum physics things and innovations with the LHC and things like that. And then so they turn a very, very interesting astronomy or quantum physics like conversation into something very, very boring, and it's sort of a tragedy. So Lee pointed out that there was a lack of clarity on the crypto regulatory front. According to him, the conversion on government cryptocurrency regulations didn't move forward during consensus. So the Fundstrat analyst did state that the issue of regulatory clarity was one that required a nuanced approach. According to him, crypto enthusiasts have certain expectations about the matter. However, many weren't expecting an exact regulatory outcome, but the lack of any movement on the topic was disappointing, to say the least. So as you can see, even this article here is getting boring very, very fast about a very interesting, should have been a very interesting topic. So positive sides, despite the lack of Bitcoin price rally, Lee maintains that there were some positive sides. Speaking during the interview, he said, "I think consensus was a huge success." Really? It is a great conference to bring a lot of people together from around the world. Oh, for $2,500 a ticket? For that? The quality of the people that were there was amazing. I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about the people themselves, but $2,500 a ticket for something that was extremely uninteresting. I just don't understand how they made it that interesting. I mean, I could have been up there, and I'm like, they're like, "Are you a developer of crypto?" I'm like, "Not currently. Maybe, but I think I can make this a lot more interesting than you guys at the moment. Could I just like at least moderate this or something, or ask questions?" It was terrible. So Lee also noted that the impending CME futures contract for Ethereum was most likely to end the security utility debate for the number 2 crypto. When asked about his 25K end-year Bitcoin price prediction, Lee stuck to his guns, saying that Bitcoin doesn't have to go up every day to move from 8,000 to 25,000. The 10 best days account for all the return of Bitcoin in a year. So if you don't own Bitcoin for 10 days each year, you lost 25% each year. So speaking on Fundstrat's proprietary misery index, Lee said that the Bitcoin misery is now at 30% after having dropped to 18% in April. Let's take a look at CoinMarketCap here. So that's all the things I got today. Tron is way up at 11.42%. I was actually just about to buy some Tron, and instead I bought EOS, which is now up over $1 after I bought it. So that's actually not too bad. In terms of the Bitcoin, not doing too bad. We're back at 391 billion market cap. Last video, I think we were like 378 or 380, something like that. So we are moving up fairly well. The overall market is still fairly down. Bytom is way up. The loser of the day is the Huobi token, Wakey Chain, and Populous. Populous just all over the place usually. So that's all I have for you guys today. But as I said earlier in the video, I'm really excited for E3. E3 for me is only it's like a 5 and some odd hour drive. But it's only like an hour-long flight from me, so I'm probably just going to end up flying there. And it's not set in stone either. I don't have my tickets yet, so they should be on their way. It's actually somebody else like picking up all the tickets, so we'll have to see what happens with that. But if you guys happen to be at E3, let me know. I mean, in the comments section, maybe you'll see me walking around or something like that. I'll probably be walking around, maybe blogging, maybe taking pictures. So I'll probably actually record a lot of it for you guys. I don't know why I just stuttered there, but I'll probably record a lot for you guys and maybe put it on my channel or maybe put it on my Steam or something like that. I'll try and make it as crypto oriented as possible. But for anybody that doesn't know what E3 is, it's like the biggest gaming conference of the year. Usually goes on for a few days, and they always show like it's always like the question of like, oh, will the PlayStation 5 be introduced at, E3 this year, or will the trailer for this game be released, kind of thing. So it's like that kind of like the biggest conference in the world for gaming, like every year, where they introduce trailers and new gaming systems and this, that, and the other thing. So it should be pretty fun. It'll be a big event. This will be the first time I'm going, so I'm pretty excited about it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as usual, I will see you guys next time.